Well, hello everybody. Happy Friday the 12th. I have to confess, I actually did think it was Thursday. I completely thought it was Thursday. And anyway, it's Friday. Woohoo! It's almost the weekend. And the game was delayed. Rafael Nadal, Roger Federer. I've pulled you guys away from the game. That just shows dedication, and I am greatly appreciative of this. So we'll make this very quick so we can get you back to this glorious game. Right now, obviously, Roger Federer, you guys were calling the Roger Federer. It is looking, I don't want to sing until obviously, it's over. But right now, are there any in-play tennis tips? Is Roger Federer looking like he is going to make the finals? Snize, I know, well, both of you flying the Roger Federer flag. Snize, what do you think? Is FedEx going to make it through to the finals?
Yeah, I would think so. First of all, happy Friday. It's not Thursday, it's Friday. Welcome to the show, guys. Federer just broke for 2-1 in the probably deciding set here. It's the fourth set. I don't think Nadal comes back from here. I think it's going to be Federer or Djokovic in the final now.
Okay, do you agree with that? Do you agree with that, Whale Capper?
I am still holding out hope that Nadal digs down and finds some way to scrap back into this set and make it go 5. The advice that we broke down 2 days ago, I think was pretty sound, and it came through in great way. Taking Federer pre-match and then expecting him to win the first set and then coming back and grabbing Nadal live and having 2 plus money tickets in hand. That strategy played out to perfection. So I'm just kind of enjoying it at this point and hoping that we see a fifth set so that the overs can cash, because that would be a nice little bonus on top of already winning money on this match. It's been a good match, but I gotta say, I don't think either of these players. I mean, maybe it should be an epic final. Actually,
yes.
If it's Federer or Djokovic, it's going to be really good. If it's Djokovic Nadal, which seems unlikely, I think it's probably Djokovic 3-0. But I would say Djokovic 3-1. What do you think, Snize? Over
if
Federer?
For Djokovic Federer final. Okay.
Yeah, I would agree with that assessment. I think that Federer's path to victory is going to be extremely narrow. He's going to have to serving out of a tree like John Isner in his prime. He's going to have to play first strike tennis, paint the lines with a paintbrush, and somehow not succumb to Djokovic's supreme returning. That would be his chance to win. And if it goes long, I don't see any way for a soon-to-be 38-year-old Federer to contend with Djokovic physically, especially not after this match here, which has been a really tough match. Djokovic hasn't really been that tested, so Djokovic looks very likely to win this final.
Yeah, and you said
he's got all his bullets left in his holster.
Yeah, and you said you didn't want to triple down because are you holding a future on FedEx to lift the trophies, Nice?
Yeah, I do. I have him and Djokovic to meet in the final, and I also have Federer to win the title.
But after this match, do you think that are you going to try and what are you going to try and do with that futures ticket, or just cross your fingers?
I'm probably gonna be letting it ride. I'm gonna have to see what kind of games, sets, overs we get. And then I'm going to be playing a second tip on Djokovic to win -1.5 sets, I would feel. I think that's the very likely outcome. But I'm not the type to hedge my bets, and I still like the thought of having a +400 outright in the final. So I'm going to go ahead with, I guess it counts as a hedge, but I'm just going to go ahead and probably lay Djokovic minus the 1.5 sets or the games, depending on what kind of numbers we get, and then go from there.
Yeah, I would say that's a bit of hedging, wouldn't you, Whale Capper? I know you like to do a little bit of hedging.
Shooting for the middle a little.
Yeah.
You can set it up a way where you're shooting for the middle, where both come through. But I think it's wise to use some sort of strategy to capture value on that futures ticket. Because you have, when you already have winnings in your pocket from a an exact matchup of Djokovic Federer final, then it's easier to make that decision to just let the future ride.
Yeah.
You've already captured some value, so what's a little bit more. But as far as enjoying the match goes, you put yourself out there 3 or 4 weeks ago, staking your claim on Federer to win Wimbledon. So I get the incentive to let it ride. I'm going to expect, if we see this play out, and granted we're probably jinxing the bejesus out of this, but if we see this go and Federer plays Djokovic, I'm looking for Djokovic is probably going to open on the money line about minus 140-ish, kind of in that ballpark. We saw yesterday Djokovic to win the title was minus 120. It was effectively a foregone conclusion that he was going to get to the final. So I think maybe there's a little bit more. They're asking for a little bit more juice for Djokovic to win. You're probably going to get a minus 1.5 sets on Djokovic at about plus 160-ish. So that would be a nice bet. At least that gives you some flexibility to make some live plays to really have a fun day on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Let us get to the women's finals because we do know who's playing. We do have the odds, and it is going to be epic. Serena Williams versus Simona Halep. Obviously, with Serena Williams, let me pull out the most recent odds here. Serena Williams, 1.55. Simona Halep, 2.75. Snize, do you think that those odds are just and a reflection of what is to come?
Yes. I would say those odds are just. I would even myself place Serena as an even larger favorite. I think that the pathway to victory for Serena is just so much simpler. She's back to close to her brilliant best, and she's spoken this week about how playing mixed doubles with Andy Murray has helped her sharpen up her game, especially when it comes to coming forward to the net and hitting volleys. The American serve, it's the best in the women's game, and if that is firing, that opens up Serena's entire repertoire, and that serve has been getting better and better, and if she's firing at a higher margin there, I don't think Halep has a way to contend with that. The Romanian is an incredible mover and counterpuncher, and just like Kerber did last year, she'll have to make this a physical match. She'll have to play high margin tennis for Serena to run all day long. But in that match Serena lost, she wasn't at her peak, and though she's had a pretty simple path. She's avoided a lot of bullets in body, for example, to get to this final. I don't think that Halep will be able to execute a perfect game plan. Her serve is weak, and that will spell trouble against the Serena returning. And if the American isn't below her best, I don't think that Halep will be able to contend. If you look at the head-to-head matchups, Serena is 9-1. Halep did win one match, and a couple of them have gone to 3 sets. But what I've noted is that Serena has more powerful serve. Obviously, she has an easier time holding. So even if it goes to 3 sets, I still think that Serena Williams is going to get it done in the end. So I'll bet her minus 3 games at 1.82 here.
All right, and you said that you would have put her as stronger favourites in the odds there. So is that I'm guessing there's a lot of value there at the 1.55 for the straight Serena Williams win. Yeah, and you're obviously just getting
I would bet that.
Yeah, wow, all right. Whale Capper, we've got Prognosticos Deportivo says Halep to win 1 set. Would you agree with that?
I would. I'm gonna go. Okay, so again, in the same sort of way we were talking about the men's side and the way that Snize set himself up for profit there, I'm sitting in a similar boat here on the women's side. I've got 14-1 on Halep to win the title. But, I recognized exactly when Snize was kind of making the case Serena's the best player left in this field, back her at plus money while you can. I grabbed some money there to cover my exposure on all of my futures. So I can't lose, really. But I also don't really, if I had nothing, I would actually go the other way from Snize and say there's value on Halep to win still. I think this is a much closer match than the bookmakers have lined it. My case for Halep goes something like, and let me address one other thing you brought up, Snize. The quotes that she was saying about playing mixed doubles with Andy Murray, that was straight media manipulation. She knows that the media is all about covering. The British media loves the fact that Andy Murray is in Wimbledon playing mixed doubles. It's a story that they've been eating it up and reporting. she's garnering favor by talking about how it's been super valuable. I mean, she is playing the media 100% for, for positive coverage and glowing coverage there. I don't think it really has changed her game at all. Her game is still baseline, power, hitting winners, and, what she does at the net, is cherry on top. It's not really fundamentally important one way or the other in terms of winning this match or singles for her on grass in general, in my opinion. And I would say Halep presents an especially interesting challenge for her, exactly in the same way Kerber did last year, where she can defend phenomenally well. And Serena, absolutely in the back of her head, she's put a lot of pressure on herself to win this title, post-maternity. She's got to win this title. And to a degree, the pressure is on her. And to a degree, if Halep can defend against some of her, more powerful, baseline attacks, she could frustrate her. She could put even more pressure on Serena to do it with her serve and her serve alone. I know Halep has not looked especially impressive holding serve throughout this point of the tournament, and that's a huge vulnerability. There's no denying that, and she's going to get broken. There is no denying that. But I do think she can frustrate and prolong this match. I do think she can win a set. I think the most likely outcome is Serena 2-1. I think over 2.5 sets is my favorite play on this one. If I'm betting it completely fresh, attacking the markets that are available, it's available basically 2.5-ish for over 2.5 sets, which is, I think, a very, very strong value. And I think Halep has a fighting chance here. So I'm going to be riding out my future ticket without doing much more balancing to kind of level out my payouts.
So therefore, you guys are a little bit head-to-head here.
A little bit.
We end not united. You think that Simona Halep has got a fighting chance, so therefore you wouldn't give Serena Williams the minus 3.5 set handicap, and Snize is saying take Serena Williams at the 1.5 because he even thinks that there's value there. Oh my goodness! So us as viewing here, what should we do?
Well, if you want to go back through history and you want to look at my particular prediction, my prognostication for forecasting history in women's finals involving Serena Williams, I think I'm like 0-4 on this show. So congratulations, Snize. This probably makes me 0-5. For whatever reason, when I was extremely confident in her over Osaka, over Pliskova in the semifinals, and over at the Australian Open, and I thought she was going to beat Kerber last year for Wimbledon. I was wrong on all those occasions. So you're probably in good shape there, buddy.
Right. Oh my goodness. All right. So there's I enjoy the game and place no bets, or do we see a great edge? Okay, so there's a question here from Bells Boys 26. I have a $50 future on Serena at plus 125. Should I just enjoy the game and place no bets, or do we see a great edge? So based on Snize would say stick with the $50 futures and enjoy the game. But what would you say, Whale Capper?
I would say find a middle. I would say shoot for a way where you exactly like what Prognosticos Deportivos laid out, which is find a way to bet Halep to win one set. That way you can if Halep wins one set, you win that bet, and if Serena wins two, you win that bet, and you can potentially double up on your payouts there. The alternative would be to watch the match play out. I think, and be prepared to bet live. I think if you're going to bet Halep as a means of covering your exposure, you're going to want a better number than that is currently available. So you're going to want to wait and see if Serena can get out to a little bit of a hot start, if she can win a couple of games early, if she can get the first break, if she can win the first set. Then you're going to see a number on Halep live like plus 500 or something incredible. So then that gives you a much more flexibility to cover your, hedge your play there. But the value, at least as I look at the market right now, is over 2.5 sets in this one. I think this comes down to a third set decider. Both of these women are fresh. Both of these women are playing spectacular tennis right now. And they've shown us, since Serena has kind of gotten into the later stages of her career, every time she's played Halep, it's been a battle. It's gone 3. Halep hasn't beaten her, but have all been very, very competitive. You go back through their history to where Halep, before she was the player she is today, and there were a lot of blowouts. But I think at their current form, this is a very competitive match.
But really, who do you think is going to be lifting the trophy, Whale Capper? If you have to make a decision, who is it?
It's probably Serena.
All right.
I give her a 55% chance.
And I'm just actually looking, because I thought to help some of our viewers, I'm looking at our resident tennis writer, Joao, who's actually going to come on a video next week with Snize. He's coming back. I know, I'm very excited. And he is liking Serena Williams to win. He found odds of 1.58. Obviously, those odds have slightly dropped, but he is saying, he's agreeing there with Snize that there is some value there. So there we go. We do think that Serena Williams will win, but we think that Simona Halep will give it a fighting chance. And as far as games and sets and everything, Snize, what do you predict?
I'm probably saying Serena 2-0. I think this match is decided by the fact if Serena can get off to a good start, if she can handle, like Wales mentioned, there is more pressure on Serena Williams here. She places that pressure on herself through her illustrious career. She doesn't really have much left to prove, but she does place that pressure on herself. She can get a little tight. She can get a little bit nervous. So I'd say if Serena doesn't show nerves early in the match and gets off to a strong start, I think she's going to run away with it from there. And if not, I think we have a match on her hands here. To me, if the match is going to be close, Halep will have to win the first set. So for those over 2.5 set looks, I would rather just play Halep first set, because I don't really think that Halep will be able to hang in there and withstand the surge of Serena if she gets going and rolls up to a 1-0 set lead.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So just to recap here, Snize, what's your tip here for the women's final?
So I'm on Serena Williams -3 games. You can get that at 1.82, and I'm going to check what that is for our American friends here. That is -122.
Okay. All right. Whale Capper, what are you going for?
I'm going for over 2.5 sets at 2.52, and I'm looking for Halep to win the first set 6-4, Serena to come back and win 6-4 in the second, and then the third set to be decided. We'll say it's a true epic, and the third set is decided 9-7 in favor of Serena.
Okay. All right, interesting stuff. And very, very quickly, actually, we're just calling Martin now, very quickly. If it is a Federer-Djokovic final, if, hypothetically, what would your tip be, Whale Capper?
I'm looking for, I like the Djokovic angle a lot. I would look for Djokovic 3-0 or 3-1, correct score. And actually 3-1, I think, is the sweet spot. I'm probably looking for a price of about 4.5-ish on a correct score of Djokovic 3-1, something like that.
Okay, nice. And Snize, what about yourself?
Yeah, I would also have to go with the Djokovic angle. I do think he wins that game, and to secure a little bit of profit on that Federer outright there, I will have to go with Djokovic as well. If his money line opens at a decent price, that's a great way to go. He has a really, really high chance of winning that match. I would say it's probably 70% or above. I think it's a really favorable matchup for him. So Djokovic to win, and probably going to put Djokovic -1.5 sets as well.
All right. There we go, boys. Thank you so much for coming on, covering Wimbledon with me. 2 weeks of fun and entertainment, and best of luck with your finals bets there. And we will see you soon. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Bye, guys. Whale Capper and Snize Master. They give them a follow on Twitter. Thank you, boys, and have a good weekend.
All right.
Same to you.
Alrighty, well, moving over now, AFCON, Africa Cup of Nations semi-finals that are taking place on Sunday. And I have to say, we did, Martin Green is going to join us now, and we actually cleaned up Martin Green with our AFCON picks, didn't we? Ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. I can actually run through. We did very well. I'm feeling very happy. I'm feeling quite confident coming into the semis. How are you doing? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, Nat. Great to be on the show. Thanks very much. Yeah, we totally smashed it in the quarterfinals.
Got both teams to
better
score
than expected,
bets.
to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I was well ahead after the first 2 rounds of group games, and then it kind of tailed off in the final round. Broke even in the last 16, but quarterfinals we called it every single one, which was great to see. Senegal, as we expected, prevailed. Nigeria prevailed. And both teams to score in the other ones look good. I thought Madagascar might get on the score sheet against Tunisia, but I think they showed their limitations in that one. And I was pleased I put half a unit on Tunisia because came out well in profit. Hopefully we keep it going in the semi-finals. Hopefully our luck doesn't run out.
Yes. Well, listen, let us crack on here. So Senegal versus Tunisia. The opening match odds were 2.2 for Senegal, draw 3.2, and Tunisia 4.2. Whilst we're talking, I'll just see if there's been any line movement. So obviously both finished second in their group, with Senegal losing to Algeria, which obviously gave them that second spot. They are the favourite to win. I'm a little bit obviously nervous about Algeria, to be honest with you. But for this match, well, first of all, Senegal beat Benin, though, just 1-0, didn't they? And then we predicted Senegal to win. I did Senegal in the under 3.5 goals to squeeze that little extra value there. Africa Cup of unders. I think this will also be an unders game, even though Tunisia beat Madagascar 3-0. Do you think that this is going to be another low scoring?
I can't see there being too many goals in this game. Senegal very, very strong at the back right now. Kalidou Koulibaly, the Napoli centre-half, is just growing into this tournament. He looks better and better with every game. It's interesting to see that they've got Kouyaté of West Ham at the back next to him. He normally plays in midfield for the Hammers and never really looked too defensive a player, but he slotted in nicely alongside him. And I think they've been very solid in the last couple of games. Can't imagine Tunisia getting many chances against them. So I think Senegal will win this one. But I can't see it being a high-scoring game either. Haven't seen very many high-scoring games at all at this tournament, simply because of the heat and the fatigue of the players. But I think we should see a pretty entertaining game here. Do fancy Senegal to win it, though.
Yeah, there's a bit of value here for Senegal to lift the Senegal to qualify at 1.6. Would you prefer to take that over the Senegal win, or are you comfortable of the Senegal win?
I would prefer to take that, but seeing as I'm ahead in profit on this tournament, doing quite well, I think I can afford to go for straight Senegal win in this one. These are the 2 highest ranked teams in the tournament by FIFA, but Senegal are the highest ranked on the continent for a reason. They've got a lot of big players that are plying their trade at some of Europe's top clubs. Mentioned Koulibaly at Napoli, but you've also got Sadio Mane, who's just won the Champions League with Liverpool, Balde of AC Milan, Mbaye Niang, he's always been a good player. So they've got a lot of pace up front, they're athletic, and I think they can overpower this Tunisian side. Haven't been overly impressed with Tunisia, to be honest. They drew all 3 of their group games, despite getting put in a pretty easy group. I think they were up against Mauritania, Angola and Mali, and none of those are footballing powerhouses. Just about scraped through their last 16 match against Ghana via penalties. Yes, they beat Madagascar comfortably in the last round, but I don't think Madagascar should ever have got this far in the tournament anyway, really. I think it could be the end of the road for them in this one, and I think Senegal can prevail. So 23-20, 2.15 on the Senegal win looks good to me. Might also have a bit of second half to be the highest scoring as well at 5-4. That's 2.25. A lot of Senegal's games so far in this tournament have been 0-0 at half time, but they seem to find a way to get the job done in the second half, grind down the opposition and get that goal that they need. So I've got a couple of bets there, which I like the look of.
Oh, I like that one as well. Yes. All right. So Senegal to win, highest scoring half being the second, but also Senegal to qualify, which is one that I quite like, which I might parlay with another bet when we move on to the next match preview, which is Algeria versus Nigeria. Opening match odds were 2.7 for Algeria, draw 3, and Nigeria 2.75. Those odds couldn't be any more closer if you tried. Well, you could by a 0.5. But actually, hang on a sec. Where are they sitting right now? Let's have a quick peek. Have they moved at all? Where's the money going on? Where is the money going on? I've got it on the...
Yeah, Nigeria are drifting.
Oh, yes. And, oh, God, they are, aren't they? Wow. So as it stands right now, 2.5 for Algeria and Nigeria at 3.3. I would agree with that. Would you? With that?
Yeah, to a certain extent. I think Algeria have probably been the most impressive team of the tournament so far. They've looked very comfortable, very good in midfield, solid at the back. Benatia is marshalling that defence with aplomb, and Riyad Mahrez up front has been leading opposition defences a merry dance. He's a very, very good player, and they're lucky to have him. Islam Slimani's looked very dangerous as well in front of goal. But I've been impressed with Nigeria the last two rounds. Yeah, they won their first two group games comfortably. I think they took a foot off the pedal a bit for their final group game against Madagascar because they knew they were already through. So I wouldn't read too much into that defeat. Since then, they've been brilliant going forwards. They took on defending champions Cameroon and beat them 3-2 in the last 16. And like we said earlier, we tipped them to beat South Africa in the previous round, and they did. Iwobi's playing well. And Odion Ighalo, former Watford man, has been good up front. Got a lot of pace there. So, yeah, I think at the moment, Nigeria are the most exciting team in the tournament, and I'm really looking forward to watching them again in this semi-final. The odds are so close, I can't really separate these two in the winner's market, and I'm not going to try. I went for both teams to score last time Algeria played, and it paid off. They conceded their first goal of the tournament against Ivory Coast, and I think Nigeria can get on the score sheet against them. They're not a team that sits back. They're playing good attacking football. I think they can unlock this defence. But then Algeria have scored 10 goals in 4 games, and I think they'll get on the score sheet too. So I'm just going to keep it simple. Both teams to score at 2.15.
That's one of my bets as well. I do like Algeria to qualify. I don't know. To be honest with you, I have a soft spot for both Nigeria and Algeria. So it's kind of like, I don't know. I'm being torn. But both teams to score actually is my official play as well at 2.1, going against the bookies' odds is there. I don't know what you guys think. Rafa, I don't know if you want to give Jay Paglia a call now. We'll get him on the line whilst we run through. Okay, So who do you think, obviously you said you can't split it, who do you think, gun to head, Algeria or Nigeria, is going to make it through to the finals? Or would you prefer just to take the bullet, then decide?
I'd rather not take the bullet. I'll say someone to avoid the bullet, but I really do think it's close. You often get these tournaments where one team looks like the best going throughout, and then it all just comes unstuck for them in the semi-finals. So, gun to head, I'm going to say Nigeria pull off an upset. A lot of pace going forward at the moment, a lot of pedigree there. I think they get the job done and take on Senegal in a very exciting final, which Senegal win. Yeah.
All right. I wasn't looking at any of the comments. I've just opened them up now. So Prognosticos Deportivo thinks as Senegal to qualify. I agree. Barsaman's on the chat. Algeria, Nigeria. He likes first half draw at 1.88, predicting that's a close game. Ramon Scott thinks Algeria 2-1. So there's our both teams to score bet. Prognosticos Deportivo, Algeria to win. All right. So there we go. Do you have a favourite bet of the two? Senegal, Tunisia, Algeria, Nigeria.
Yeah, I'm going to put a bet on all of them. Senegal to 5, second half to be the highest scoring at 2.25 in that game, and also both teams to score in that Algeria versus Nigeria game at 2.15. Favourite of the lot, I'm just going to go for a straight Senegal win. I've been impressed with them. I think they're growing into this tournament and getting better with every game. I think it would be a travesty if they don't beat Tunisia. I think Tunisia are punching above their weight. They don't have as good a quality of players. They got annihilated by England in the World Cup. I don't rate them that highly. And if Senegal can't beat them, they don't deserve to win it anyway. So 2.15 Senegal, that's my favourite bet of the semi-finals.
Fantastic stuff. That was Martin W. Green. That's his Twitter handle if you want to go give him a follow. We will be back next week. We're covering some futures. It's going to be a very light week next week, but we're going to cover some futures and some other sports as well. And so, Martin, have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next week.
Thanks, Natalie. Look forward to it.
All right, bye-bye. Okay, so final segment of Sports Bet Daily Friday the 12th is UFC Fight Night 155, and that is with Jay Paglia from The Sport Keg. Hi Jay, how's it going? Happy Friday.
What's up, Nat? How are you?
I'm great. I thought it was Thursday until we were doing the show, and then I realized it was Friday because of the subjects we were talking about, and I think it's Friday, so that's kind of cool. And
it was a good week last week.
It was a good week last week, and obviously Dave Betts couldn't be with us, unfortunately. He is having internet issues, but is he going to come on your show I watched your show, actually. Well, I watched the replay of your show. It's late for him, or early in the morning. It's like 4 or 5 in the morning. You can see him like trying to stay awake, but he's dedicated. You guys are dedicated to this sport, I have to say.
We are, definitely. Yeah, he gets done with the fight cast with me like 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, he said at one point he was like driving to McDonald's or something, and he was doing it from his phone, driving to McDonald's to go for some food. How do you? Because you guys film like for like 6-7 hours. Like, do you eat like
on the weekends? Yeah, no, I don't really eat until after. On the weekdays, we usually go for like 4.5 hours, but on the weekends, we go hard. We're like there for like 8 hours.
I don't think I
But
could
we picked up a few thousand last on Amanda Nunes. I didn't buy the yacht, but you know.
Almost.
We're still
almost. You've got the anchor. You've got the sails.
This is a terrible card.
Yeah.
This the card on Saturday is really bad. Most of the card is a pass. Next weekend though is going to be great.
Well, I would disagree actually, and I love speaking with you guys, and I obviously want to try and do my part as well. I've found some nice bets actually that I'm quite interested in, and
really.
Yes. So the first one, obviously, well, we have to also talk about the main event, and we'll get to the main event in a minute. But I'm actually quite liking Vince Morales at the 1.75. Now, he actually opened up as an underdog, and there's a ton of money that's going on him, which is obviously making him more so the favourites against Benito Lopez. I got him at a better price, but 1.75, would you say there's still value on that?
I think that the line is right. I thought that line was basically a complete pass for me, to be honest.
It's true.
I didn't really like the fight at all.
Oh. Just what you don't think that Vince Morales can do it?
He's just not really tested in. I mean, he fought Song Yadong, who is a beast. He fought on last week's UFC 239 card and was impressive. That kid is a stud. So I don't really hold that against him. And his only other fight in the UFC that we have to judge him on was against Sahabi, and he won a 3-round decision, but I didn't think he was that impressive in the fight. So for me, I just thought it was a pass. To be honest, almost all the fights on this card I just couldn't find value on. Like, wow. I like where Dave was going in his punching parlay. I agree. I like both of those fighters. If you want, we could break down those fights. Sure. And I also like the main event. Yeah. And maybe there's a pick in the co-main event also. But in terms of Morales, I don't know. I just didn't see it. I have to see more from this kid before I could bet on him.
Yeah. Well, I just pulled out. Well, I have to say, Mississippi Kid said agreed, Natalie. He agrees with me. So he's like, there's a lot of money is going on. Yeah, exactly. I'm feeling a little less like, oh God, what did I do? No. So Vince Morales. Okay, so I just actually pulled up Dave's punching parlay, and one of them is Juliana Pena, which is actually one of my looks as well on the cards. Now, she's just coming off of maternity leave, which sometimes can be a little unpredictable. She's super low priced at 1.57, but she really is in great form. So at 1.57, that is part of Dave's punching parlay, I think. Is it punching?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, exactly. He actually got the price at 1.64 minus 156. Do you like Juliana Pena against Nico Montana?
I think you're dead on. So I completely agree. I think it's probably one of the best spots to make money on the card. I don't really understand why Juliana Pena is not a bigger favorite in the fight. I understand she's coming in off a long layoff because she became a mom, but I'm seeing her at like 1.60 against Nico Montano, whose only win in the UFC is against the Librarian. I call this chick the Librarian because she has no business being in the UFC. I am not a Roxanne Modafferi fan. So, I mean, she has a win over her. She has 6 fights, Montano, in her entire pro career, only one in the UFC. She's moving up a weight class, and she's also coming in off a 1.5-year layoff. So I think Jessie Pena grapples better than Nico Montano does anything. I think she's got a proven track record. She's won 4 of the 5 fights she's fought in the UFC. And her only loss in the UFC is against probably the second best women's MMA fighter right now in Bullet Shevchenko. I think if Jessie Pena was not coming in off the layoff, she'd probably be around the minus 300 range. So I think because of the layoff, the book set a soft line. And I definitely think that it's a place that we could take advantage of it. I bet it for a unit. So I think you're right on the money there.
Yay!
I like
Great.
it.
We're
gonna make you a fan.
I have to say, I'm listening to you guys. I want to, I'm learning. I'm listening to your Sports Keg show as well. All right, so 1.57. There we go. Now, the other one that I wanted to talk about, and this is quite even. Now, Mississippi Kid is going for. He said he's going for Ryan Hall. I was leaning a little bit to Darren the Damage Elkins, priced at 2. I just thought that he was a step above Ryan Hall, but obviously Mississippi Kid is going against me. Just if anybody is watching for the very first time, I am just learning UFC betting, so that's why I've got Jay here. So would you take Darren Elkins? Are you saying that there's no value on that? It's very evenly priced.
Yeah, I think it's a low-key candidate for fight of the night. I think it's going to be really competitive, and I think that the line is priced right. I really don't see an advantage on either side. I think it's the kind of fight where you just sit back and enjoy it. I mean, he got knocked out by Ricardo Lamas, who, I mean, that's not a great loss because, Ricardo Lamas, I would say, is probably on like the downslide. Mm-hmm. Darren Elkins is he's a really tough guy. He's a brawler. He takes so much damage that, I mean, he has to have CTE like by the end of his career because, I don't hold his Alexander Volkanovski loss against him because I think he's a future champion. But, early January 2018, I thought was the best time to get on Elkins because he looked phenomenal against the fight with Michael Johnson. But right now, a 1.5 years later, I just don't really see value on the fight. If I had to lean a certain way, I would lean where you're going. I would probably lean Darren Elkins, but I respect Ryan Hall enough to just stay off the fight.
Okay. All right, so there we go. Yeah, you are a little bit on the fence here, aren't you, with some of these ones? But you are liking Juliana Pena at 1.57.
Yep.
The other one as well is the final one, and then we'll get to the. So you You don't really like Vince Morales, but Mississippi Kid does. But the 1.57, there was more value earlier. He was the underdog. He's now the favorite. Jonathan Martinez at 2.25 against Ping Juan Lui. Should Martinez be favorites? I think that's quite a good price. I think he should be the favorites in this fight, but he is not.
Man, you're picking like all the fights that I really don't like at all.
Really?
Yes.
Well, all right. Anybody watching?
This is another fight where I have to see more from Jonathan Martinez than what we've seen so far. I mean, the only thing I can judge him on is the only fighter that he's fought, I think, worth anything was Andre Sukumtat. And, he lost a 3-round decision there. And I have to see more from the kid. Like this entire card, I'm telling you, Nat, there's like 4 bets right now that 3 I would definitely feel comfortable giving out, and maybe a 4th where if I had to lean a certain way, I would probably give a pick out on the co-main, the main event. But other than that, it's slim pickings. A lot of times, like the UFC used to fight once a month, and then you would get the best of the best talent, and then it would be so much easier to bet on these cards. Now they have an event every week. Yeah. And a lot of times they fight, guys fight that you can't find a lot of tape on, or they've only fought once or twice in the UFC. And it's really hard to judge their value against the line until you have a chance to see them more. You know what I mean? So that's why, like, Fight Night 155, maybe 3 plays, maybe 4 plays. But next weekend's UFC 240 card, which looks awesome, I think we could find a lot more value in.
All right. What time does Fight Night Eastern Time start tomorrow?
I want to say 6 p.m.
Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah, 6 p.m. I think the prelims start.
All right. So you said there are 3 plays, a possible 4th. So run us through the plays that you think that there is value on.
Well, the main event is I did the write-up for Aspen Ladd and Jermaine Durandamy. This was the first time in 3 months that Dave and I have been on the opposite sides of a fight. He put Jermaine Durandamy in his Dogs article, and I like Aspen Ladd. It's one of the few fights that I've gone into my research thinking one fighter would win, and came out the other side thinking another fighter would win. Like, I don't begrudge anyone for taking a shot at plus money with Jermaine Durandamy. When I first saw the lines for the fight, I thought the wrong fighter was favored. She's an excellent kickboxer. She went 37-0 her pro career. She brings awesome kickboxing style to MMA. Her striking is her best attribute. Mm-hmm. Her fight IQ is very solid. Because she's fought in combat sports a long time, and she's seen and done it all. Now, her opponent, who I like, Aspen Ladd, she's the definition of raw talent. She's only fought 8 times in her pro career. She's 8-0. She's like a ball of just raw aggression that does nothing but walk forward and destroy whatever's in front of her. Her stand-up game is legit. She hits hard for the division, and while she doesn't have the stand-up game from like a technical standpoint that Jermaine Durandamy has, she hits hard enough and throws enough that I think Randamy will respect her stand-up. The X factor is the second that Randamy respects her on the feet, she's going to go for a takedown, and if she lands it, she'll destroy Durandamy on the ground. Her wrestling is really good. Her top control is really good. Nobody really gets up once they are on their back. And her takedowns are excellent because she's really strong for the division. The people that are on the other side of me, like Dave, would argue that Durandamy has like an 88% takedown defense, right? But my response to that is that's a completely fugazi stat. If you take a look at who she's beaten, she beat Holly Holm, who doesn't know what to do with a takedown. She beat Rocky Pennington, whose nickname is literally Rocky because the way she throws her hands. And since her fight with Amanda Nunes in 2013, the only people that have really attempted to take her down are Larissa Pacheco and Anna Elmos. And for somebody like me that lives and breathes the sport, I had to look those two girls up because I didn't even know who they were. So I think the bottom line is the most guaranteed path to victory for the fight is Aspen Ladd gets a takedown and ends it. And if she can get the takedown, I think she gets it done. And that line of setting her at like 1.65 for a girl that only has 8 fights is indicative of the advantage that she has on the ground. So I believe that she gets it done. I'm on the other side of Dave, so I took Aspen Ladd for 1 unit.
1 unit. And to quote you here from your article, it starts off by saying, I didn't see myself pulling the trigger on Ladd, but now it's a different story. And so you literally sort of obviously you assess, because with your squared up articles, you basically analyze each fighter, their pros, their cons, their stats, their history, right. and then you go on to the next fighter. So I'm guessing, did you have a sort of a clear mind before, and then you obviously break down, and then the tip or the pick comes, and you're
right.
Like, so you didn't see yourself pulling it, and you were kind of going on.
When I first looked at the line, I thought, wow, why is Germaine Durandamy plus 135 against Aspen Ladd? That line seems off.
Yeah.
But I went into it with a clear mind, and after I did the research, I came out the other end, and I thought that the line, I still thought that there was value on Ladd. I think that the advantage that she has on the ground is huge. If she can get Germaine Durandamy down, she wins the fight. If she can't, she loses the fight. And I think she can.
Wow. RKE 404 says, get 'em, Jay. Aspen all the way. So there we go. All right. So you like Aspen there at the 1.62. What else are you looking at? I know you like Julia Penner at 1.57. So what is your third look?
Yeah, I think the other end of Dave's punching parlay was Ricky Simone. Now, I didn't write a co-main event article on the fight because a lot of times when you have a fighter that was retired and he comes out of retirement, you really don't know what you're going to get. But I agree with Dave. Ricky Simone, he's a solid MMA fighter. You know, he sets a grueling pace. His pressure is really relentless. His ground game is okay. He's a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is solid. His top control has been impressive, the little that we've seen of it. He would rather stand up and bang. He has solid power for the division. Nothing crazy, but still solid. Mm-hmm. He's 15-1. He only has fought 3 times in the UFC. He hasn't beaten Murderers Row, but I mean, you know, he knocked out Davishvili. He's got 2 decision wins over Montel Jackson and Ronnie Yahya. He's good, but not great. But he's fighting a guy in Uriah Faber who is 40 years old and coming out of retirement. He used to be dynamic. He had some of the best wrestling earlier in his UFC career. With time, he formed an excellent stand-up game as well. But now he's a 40-year-old dad. He owns a couple gyms, and he runs Team Alpha Male, who is one of the good gyms like that train MMA fighters. I can't fathom why this guy is doing this at 40 years old. I'm not sure if it's a midlife crisis or I really don't know. As far as the fight goes, Ricky Simone at most books is like 1.26, which seems absurd to me. Do I think Faber wins the fight? No, but I'm not going to lay minus 380 on Ricky Simone. I think Faber's crafty enough where he won't get dropped and he won't get submitted within 15 minutes. So if I had to give a lean out for the fight, it would be Ricky Simone by decision at 1.62. I think I'm going to stay off of it, but if I was going to bet it, it would be Ricky Simone at 1.62.
All right. There we go. Thank you so much, Jay. So tomorrow, what time will you be on? Yeah, what time will you be on at 6 p.m. Eastern time, more or less?
Yeah, I believe we'll be on a half an hour before the event starts. I believe it starts at 6, so we'll probably be on around 5:30. We won. Obviously, we picked up profit last week, so we've had 18 fight casts. We've made profit in 16, so we're going for 17 of 19 tomorrow.
Wow. All right. Enjoy. Have fun. I will be tuning in at some point, and very exciting. All right. Have a wonderful Friday, and best of luck for tomorrow. Thank you to everybody watching as well. And it's the Sports Keg over on YouTube. Go and go. It's the 16 times out of 18 profit. Go check them out. All right, thank you so much for watching, everybody. We will see you on Monday. I think it's Africa Cup of Nations finals we'll be filming with Alex will be back, yay, off his holidays, and with Martin Green as well. Take care, have a great weekend, and see you soon.